Arsenal transfer news. Arsenal have been linked with a host of arrivals and departures this summer, and what better way to discuss this matter with my good friend here, Dan, who's obviously a big Arsenal fan. Dan,
easy now.
Let's start off with probably the biggest story, I'd say, so far of this transfer window, which is obviously painful one for me as a Chelsea fan. Declan Rice, former academy product of Chelsea, he's been linked with a move to Arsenal. Not only has he been linked, all reports are saying that they've bid, 80 million for him?
I think the first one was like 88.
What do West Ham want?
I think West Ham, it's well documented. I think they think he's at least worth, 110 to 120 million.
What did Bellingham just go for?
Bellingham, again, his transfer fee, I think, was something like 88 million straight up, but then the rest is all add-ons. So again, it bumps it up to sort of like 90, just under 100.
If they win the Champions League,
etc.
etc.
So it's all that. See, I think you just add like an extra 10, 15 million on top, depending.
Right. My barber, he's an Arsenal fan. He's also someone that knows Declan Rice personally.
Oh, okay.
He said that Arsenal bid 80 mil for Declan Rice and West Ham are saying that they want 100 mil. Obviously, there's loads more to it in terms of like the structure of the payment and the deal and all these things. But as an Arsenal fan, do you not just think, just put the 100 mil on the table? Because for the sake of 10, 20 mil, it's pretty much like a Premier League proven product in Declan Rice that you're going to get there. I personally, as a Chelsea fan who, has been spoilt with money over the years, I'd just be like, look, just fucking lay the money on the table for him and go out and get him.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a case for and against it, isn't there? One hand, you don't want to get sort of stiffed over a deal and pay over the odds. But as you rightly said, I'm of the thinking that, do you know what, just put the money down. Because potentially what could happen is, you could go and win the league. You could, win a cup, do something in Europe that generates money. So whatever you are spending, which is like 15, 20 million over the asking price or whatever, it's worth it because you recoup it anyway. So I just think, just stop mucking about. And if you want him, just say, right, how much you want? Right, there you go. And it's done. And then, because I can see if it drags out any longer, someone like Man City will just come in and they'll just go, right, okay, we'll pay you not only what you want, but probably an extra 10 million just to get him. And I mean, just for a guy to catch bench like for the next season, which is, you've only got to look at Calvin Phillips. That's exactly what happened to him.
Well, you don't reckon Rice will start for Man City?
I'm not saying he won't start. I mean, I'm sure he'll get games, but eventually, like, unless, I don't know, with the whole Gundogan situation at Man City, whether he goes and then, Rice takes that spot or whatever. But, generally, if he ain't feeling it, I mean, and as well, add another into the equation for Man City, John Stones played a blinder in that kind of midfield role. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So it's one of them. It's like, will he get guaranteed games? Not so much, because even if he goes for 100 million, it doesn't matter. Calvin Phillips went for loads of money and he didn't get a game. He's even making light of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy, but I think with Declan Rice, we've just got to put the money down.
The indications are that Rice wants to come to Arsenal as well.
Well, I'd like to think so, because I'd like to think like, he's settled in London, he's a London boy, do you know what I mean? He probably wants to stay where he is. Not too much upheaval. I mean, I'm not sure if he's got a family, I don't know. But, if he...
Kingston he's from.
Okay.
He grew up living next door to my best mate's missus. Not like that next door when they live like 4 roads away. I mean, share the garden fence. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as I say, I think all the indications are there for it to make sense. We've just got to pay the money. So that's it. There's no more haggling to be done.
Gut instinct. Do you think you get him?
Before we had this chat, I was nailed on. I'd say, yeah, we'll get him. But I don't know. I think the longer it goes on, there's a potential for someone like City to come in. And dare I say it may sound stupid to some, but Chelsea. If Chelsea were to put in a bid, it would be a no-brainer, because he'd just be like, well, all right, Chelsea aren't playing great, but it's my team. And if Mason Mount stays, Mason Mount's going, isn't he?
Mount's going, and the thing with the Rice Chelsea thing is, as much as I'd like to romanticise it as a Chelsea fan, we did release him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a bit like, it's not like he got moved on. It's not like he went out on loan and got moved on or whatever. When you've been released by a club, maybe that might leave a little bit more of a bitter taste in their mouth, sort of thing. I mean, you look at the way, and I'm not putting him in the same basket, but you look at the way that how Lukaku's attitude was when he returned after Chelsea sold him on and whatnot. I don't know. But then again, you look at like players like Nemanja Matic. We got rid of Matic when he was younger,
Yeah,
sort of thing. He came back, done a job for us, was a pivotal part in that title win.
There you go. I mean,
so
I think getting released as a youngster is, you can look at it two ways. Yeah, you can look at it, yeah, it probably leave a bit of taste in your mouth. However, if you've grown up supporting that club, like, you know, for example, you know, I've been an Arsenal fan all my life. If I got released by Arsenal and then I had to carry on my career elsewhere, but then I make this sort of journey back to them, and they say, "Well, we want you to sign for us." I'm not going to sit there and go, "Oh yeah, no, you released me." I'm saying, "Right, where do I sign?" Yeah, I don't even care.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, you would jump at it, but it's also about like who's closer to what he wants to achieve. He's obviously had a taste of European success now. He doesn't want to go somewhere where he's not going to have any European football. To be fair, that's not a dig out. It's not a dig out, but I'm just saying there's no European football for Chelsea next year.
Well, no, we've got a couple of pre-season games in America, mate.
Yeah, all right, okay. Those aside, but I still think he's at it now. He's gone, you know what, I've won a European Cup final, like one of the European Cup finals. I want more. So he's going to want to go somewhere that gives him that option. So I'm hoping that he likes what's going on at Arsenal. Obviously, we're quite a young squad. Looks like we're going places. Do you know what I'm saying? So
guaranteed starter.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you look at systematically the style you play and whatnot. He's a starter. He's a guaranteed starter 100%, for Arsenal.
100%.
One man you were linked with, and it ties in nicely with the whole Declan Rice theme here. You were suggesting that maybe if Chelsea were to come in for Declan Rice, it's been heavily reported that Chelsea have now swooped in for Caicedo, and he's looking more likely to come to Chelsea. He was linked with Arsenal all summer. It was said, wasn't it, that at one point you had this 200 odd million pound kitty, apparently, that you know you could invest in your squad this summer, and it would have been boosted by the reassurance of Champions League football and the money that comes with that. And it was said at one point that maybe you could go out and sign Rice and Caicedo, but I just think for the fees that you'd be paying for both of them, bearing in mind you've got Partey still there, Xhaka, if reports are to believe, he's going. And then you've not got a massive amount of depth in that central midfield. You've got that young, is it Fabio Vieira?
Yeah, Fabio Vieira. But I mean, I think he needs to go out on loan. Just on a side note, that guy's just he's not equipped for it yet, I don't think.
Would you be disappointed to see Caicedo move to Chelsea rather than come into Arsenal? Or if you could sit there now and say, yeah, that happens, but we get Rice, would you be happy enough with that?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, if we get Rice, then it doesn't bother me. I think, like, if you were talking about like trying to sign both of them, I mean, I don't know how much roughly they're rating Caicedo at now, but I think I read somewhere a figure of like, you know, you'd have to spend like 170 million just on two central midfielders. Yeah, that's a lot of money, and then it doesn't really leave you anything for other reinforcements which we need. Centre back and striker. Yeah, so I just think like you've just got to kind of weigh it up. They're both good players. Caicedo's had a great season. He's established himself at Brighton. But again, is there any rush for him to move somewhere else? Brighton have just secured European football. He's going to start. You know, they're going to play some games. It might sort of boost his value a bit more. So you never know. But I think, if we get Rice, I'm not too fussed about Caicedo. But we need to get one or the other. There's no way that we can go into next season without either.
Not if you're looking to and some people think, oh, that sounds pessimistic. Well, not from me, I'm a Chelsea fan, but some people think that you know that's a given. But if you're looking to establish yourself as one of the top 4 teams, and stay in those Champions League spots, which believe me, like as a Chelsea fan, it's not easy. You know what I mean? You need reinforcement in midfield. Another area that you also need reinforcement in my opinion, is up top. Jesus, this season he's definitely come with his injury problems. I do think that an option Arsenal should have, which to be fair, they sort of do in Eddie Nketiah, but a more proven one would be an all-out number 9. And the all-out number 9 that it looks like you could be getting, Champions League winner Kai Havertz. What is an Arsenal fan's opinion on signing Kai Havertz?
Well, I mean, we've got history signing some of your cast-offs, so again, that straight away it just puts like the fear of God into me that we're going to get another one. However, I don't know if he's an out-and-out striker. I think
he ain't.
I think he's just another addition to what we've got, i.e. Jesus. All right, yeah, Jesus is our striker, but when you see him play games, he plays more like a left winger, and he comes in. Then you've got Trossard, does the same thing. You know, Emile Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka, they all come inside and then they have a shot on goal, blah, blah, blah. So Havertz is not really going to enhance us anymore. He's just going to be, more of what we've already got.
He just give you depth.
Yeah, he'd give us depth.
Do you think he played better in an Arsenal system than a Chelsea one? Because I feel like a Chelsea system, Arsenal, right, even when they haven't done well, they've always played that attractive on the eye, free-flowing, lovely brand of football, yeah? Even when they ain't been playing well, they have. Whereas Chelsea, it's like, when they don't play well, it doesn't look good at all, because Chelsea playing well are a Rolls Royce. That's more what we are. We are a steam train. We come through, cut through the middle, physical style team and whatnot. And that's why strikers like Kai Havertz, if you class him as that, strikers that have been elite at other clubs, albeit past their prime, like Samuel Eto'o, just spring into my mind now, Loic Remy, those sort of strikers have never really fitted the mould at Chelsea. I think with Chelsea,
Fernando Torres as well.
Fernando Torres. You look at the physical profile of a striker at Chelsea, really, and I look at the likes of a Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, a Didier Drogba, obviously a Diego Costa. They're the sort of strikers that I think play best in our system, even though they've played in different generations of the team. I don't know what it is, say it about the club's DNA maybe, that Kai Havertz doesn't suit that role. In an Arsenal system, I believe that you might see a little bit more of the Kai Havertz that you got out by Leverkusen, and I also think I would probably go as far to say that a Kai Havertz being coached by Mikel Arteta rather than being coached by Thomas Tuchel, which he was for most of his time at Chelsea, probably a better fit. That's not to say I think that Arteta's a better manager than Tuchel, because I don't, but I just think that maybe profile-wise for that player, it's a better fit.
Yeah, I mean, it's you'd be crazy to think like a different system, different philosophy, style of playing isn't gonna, suit the guy. From what I've seen of him at Chelsea, I don't think he's great. If he came to Arsenal, who knows? That's the great unknown, isn't it? You take that 50-50, he could flourish in our team. However, if he comes in and he doesn't do the job, he clearly hasn't got the physical presence for a striker, in my opinion. So then if he doesn't sort of make the grade there, then he starts to drift onto the bench. And then once he gets to the bench, he's going to find it very difficult to get proper minutes because of the players I mentioned that are before him, like Trossard.
You'd put Trossard before him, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah,
energy, just the way he carries himself on the pitch.
Yeah,
you'd put him before him.
I mean, as I say, the way that Trossard came into the team when we signed him in the January window from Brighton, guy was seamless. Like literally, if anything, it elevated his game more. So then that adds fuel to the Havertz debate. Would he play better for us? He might do. Or he might just be another one of the Chelsea flops.
How much you pay for him? How much would an Arsenal fan put down now if it was in your hands for Kai Havertz?
Oh, I don't know, 20 quid. No, I don't know. I mean, look, it ain't my money. I don't know. In today's market, everything is overinflated, innit?
What did you sign Jesus for? 45?
Something like that, yeah.
Around 45. Let's say you did, yeah, and I'm sure people will tell me in the comments that we didn't. 43.
Yeah.
But let's say you sign Jesus for 45. Going on that measuring stick, yeah, in that stratosphere, what are you putting down for Kai Havertz?
I'd probably say, yeah, I mean, you're looking at like 35 to 40.
I thought you were going to say 30. So reports are that you're going to bid about 60. Now, we paid 75, yeah, which means we're making a 15 mil loss.
Yeah.
Work out what you gain from winning the Champions League. Kai Havertz didn't win us the Champions League.
No, he just scored the
because
goal.
because there's not one game in the Champions League and one moment of one game.
That's it.
He scored the goal in the final.
Yeah.
But let's be simplistic with it and say he did win us the Champions League because his goal did.
Yeah.
15 mil loss ain't much. I don't really care. I mean, of course I don't. It's not my fucking money. But what I'm saying is 15 mil loss ain't that bad, whatever.
Yeah.
Would you pay 60 for him? Or would you rather look at paying... I mean, mate, I don't want to give anyone at Arsenal ideas because I want the player, but I think you can get Ivan Toney for 45, 50 mil.
There you go. I mean, as I say, that's a player for me. I'd be more excited about getting someone like Ivan Toney than I would Kai Havertz because... Something about, Ivan Toney's got the physical presence up front. He can score with both feet, score with his head. Do you know what I mean? He's not bad. Do you know what I mean? He's pretty decent. Do you know what I mean? And it's like the 2 seasons in the Premier League that he's had with Brentford, I mean, he's got better. So if someone says to me, well, you've got 60 million, you can either pick Kai Havertz or Ivan Toney.
It's a no-brainer.
It's easy.
Less of a gamble. No, but it's true though, isn't it? It is true.
All bets are off.
Right, so moving on to the last one then.
Yep.
Emile Smith Rowe. Now, this looks like it could almost become a make-weight in the deal for Declan Rice. Let's say, for example, you don't want to pay 100 mil for Declan Rice, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think that 90 mil plus Emile Smith Rowe could do it?
First of all, you got to then look at like, well, what are you rating Smith Rowe at? And for me, I think without his injuries, he's just as good as Saka. He's just as good as Saka. And that's, from watching him from when he's first broke into the team, even seeing him in like reserve games and stuff like that, the geezer is quality. He is quality. And I don't know, he's always been linked away. I mean, last season it was Villa. I was worried for him when we loaned him out to Huddersfield, but actually done him a power of good. Yeah. He got games. And then obviously, like Mikel's second season, he was playing virtually every game. He just looked mustard. Scored goals. He's got pace. He's really good on the ball. I mean, as an Arsenal fan, I hope that we don't include him in anything, don't sell him. I'm just hoping that it's just either been like, a very cautious approach from the club so he doesn't come back and get injured again because of the kind of injuries he's had before, and they're just easing him back in. I mean, they did similar things with Martinelli, where Martinelli didn't play for a large chunk of the season and people think we were going to get rid of him. So I think it's probably, I'm leaning towards, I'm hoping that it's like more the club managing it better. So
I think it was two things. I think it was a case of one, the injury, and two, when he was back and ready to play, that 11 was so established. They were so good. Like, the only time you ever changed anything was due to an injury.
Yeah.
Maybe occasionally there would be a little switch for like Europa League games, things like that. But I mean, when I'm sat here as a Chelsea fan, and I've spoke before about selling off the DNA of a club. Yeah, it wouldn't sit right with me if that was in my shoes and whatever. But then at the same time, I'm like, listen, if I can get Declan Rice in, I can mould that boy into being the DNA of this club. He's still young enough. He's only 24 or something, can he? So
yeah, I mean, look, I personally believe the more quality you've got in your squad, it only benefits you. And I think we spoke about this either personally, like privately or whatever, maybe not on here, but I think players nowadays, they're quick to just go, do you know what, fuck it, I'm not playing, I'm off. Whether it's for money or whether it's just to get games, they can't be asked to fight for their place. Whereas if I think you've got a strong squad where in every position you've at least got one, possibly two players that can come in, that's going to galvanise the rest of the squad, and it's going to say, well, no, this is my spot, mate, you ain't having it. And then the other players going to be, well, no, I think I'm better than you. Then the training gets better, everyone's attitude, the winning mentality comes back. So I think for Emile Smith Rowe, if I was advising him, I'd say just, sit tight, you're going to get your chance. But should we use him in a deal? I don't think so, because I just think that would be an absolute travesty, mate. As I say, he's part of Arsenal. He's been there since a small boy. I think you've got to keep players like that.
There you go, people. That is an Arsenal fan's perspective on the transfer news that we're hearing coming out of the Emirates at the moment. But I'd be very interested what you Arsenal fans think of the transfer news that we're hearing at the moment. Let me know in the comments. I'll be live as soon as this video drops, and I'll be replying to every single comment. So let me know your thoughts and what players you'd like brought in this summer. I'll see you all in the next one.